Yeah, he preferred art and subtlety to allegory. Now, just the thing is that Tolkien has actually written allegory. So if you read something like Leaf by Niggle is about himself and the journey of the soul through purgatory to heaven. And it's allegorical in that sense. It's not a political allegory. So when he talks about not liking allegory, he's thinking of a political allegory, because people saw The Lord of the Rings as a political allegory for World War II or something like that. He's like, it's not that. And it's not. It's really more about sin and the soul and those sort of influences. But if you read Leaf by Niggle, that is a spiritual allegory. So Niggle is always concerned with this painting he's always working on, and he's neglecting his other things which should be important, and forgetting about those things. And then he knows he has a journey coming up. Now the journey is death. And one day the coach shows up to take him on his journey, meaning he dies. He doesn't know when he's going to die, but he'll die. And when he dies, he leaves his work unfinished. And that is literally Tolkien. Tolkien died and left his work unfinished. He was a procrastinator. He, a self-proclaimed procrastinator. Leaf by Niggle is about JRR Tolkien looking inwardly at his own flaws in many ways. He doesn't care for his neighbor enough. He knows that that's like a failing. He should care more about his neighbor. He should be more charitable. He should care less about his art, which he'll never finish, and care more about his neighbor and his needs and helping him out. And of course, he dies, and the carriage comes and gets him. They take his canvases down and use them to repair his neighbor's house. So he loses the work that he thought was so important in his life, this painting. And while he's gone on his trip, all that gets left of everything he did is a leaf, Niggle's leaf, a leaf by Niggle, and it gets put in a local museum. It's called Leaf by Niggle. And you could say a lot about Niggle, but he could certainly draw a good leaf. And really that's J.R.R. Tolkien reflecting on his life and his work and all these things that he cared about and created, and have really just kind of, he evaporate after he's gone. And all that will be left of this tiny thing, right? Maybe The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, like these tiny works that he did compared to all the vast things that were existing in his mind and that he wanted to create. And even that will be forgotten in time. And so he goes on his journey, he goes to a hospital, and he's treated badly. At the hospital, he's forced to work to fix what's wrong with him, right? He's rather sick, and there's these voices debating, and you realize that the voices are the three persons of God debating about how to fix Niggle. So he's in purgatory, being purged of, basically being purified for his entrance into heaven. And Tolkien, being a Catholic, believed in the purgatorial process. Now, he doesn't show purgatory. Some people show purgatory basically as hell. That's not how Tolkien portrays it. He portrays it as more, he has to do these chores. He has to pay off his debt. That's his debt of sin and things like that. And at the end of it, he's healthy and he's better and he's ready to move on. And there's a kind and gentle voice talking with the other ones. That's probably Christ talking to God the Father, and talk about how to care for Niggle. And he has many good things, and so when he gets purified, he moves on to heaven. And who does he meet in heaven but his neighbor, who he gets to help in heaven the way that he couldn't really help on earth. He gets to do the work and he has the time and the ability, the effort to do the good work in heaven that he couldn't really do on earth because of his own limitations, because of his own flaws, because of his own failings. Those things have been eliminated, and now he's able to both create his own work. He's like in his own work. He's in the painting that he made with all the trees, and he's helping his neighbor make his neighbor's garden. So really the two visions of him and his neighbor, the simple and the complex vision, are kind of united in heaven, and they both have the time and ability to work before they can perhaps move on to other things, other important work that they have to do in heaven. So Leaf by Niggle, just to get off on this tangent, Leaf by Niggle is a really, really good work by J.R.R. Tolkien. I recommend everybody read it. It is allegorical, but not political allegory. Rather, it's him creating an allegory about the journey of the soul and salvation and heaven and his own failings and how he views what he looks forward to past his own death. And that it's all kind of encapsulated. he apparently had a deep knowledge over the limitations of his own life because those things came to pass. He couldn't finish his work. He couldn't publish the Silmarillion. And it was rather than his canvas being used to shore up his neighbor's house, he had a good son who was a great caretaker of his work and helped a lot of that come to fruition. So anyway, I recommend people go ahead and read that.